welcome to Abby's Book Reviews. This is the November wrap-up. Sorry this is so late, I've had to refilm it, which is why we're in a different location. This is where I'll be filming from now on. The first time I filmed this, the audio wasn't syncing with the video, and yeah, it just made a whole mess of the video, so here I am to refilm it for you. I only managed to read 5 books in November, which was a bit disappointing, but 3 of them were absolutely massive, so that kind of explains it, I want to say. Also, working for retail leading up to Christmas just does not help in the slightest. Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas. This is technically the 6th in the Throne of Glass series. I am really glad I reread this before Kingdom of Ash came out, and having reread the rest of the series as well, I could actually remember what happened in Empire of Storms, whereas when I read this the first time, it had been a year since I read Empire of Storms, and it was just frustrating the first time trying to remember what was going on at the same time. Whereas rereading everything in one go just really helped me remember that was what was happening in Illyria at the same time as the Southern Continent. Then I read this big bad boy, Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas. It is the 7th and final book in the Throne of Glass series, and as I've just said with Tower of Dawn, I am so glad I reread the entire series before reading this one. It meant that I could remember what happened. It was amazing, all the little tie-ins of how everything kind of came together, and all the little things that you'd forgotten about came back and worked themselves out, and it was just so good. Like, you can see how much effort Sarah's put into this series and how she's remembered, as I said, all the little details, that kind of the threads that come together was just amazing. I loved this book. I love the series. I want all the merch for it, and I don't have all the merch. I don't know if, having reread it all together and have read the entire series in one go, that I may actually prefer this one over ACOTAR. I'm not sure. I think I prefer the characters. I really don't know. This one is definitely Sarah's growth as an author from her first one to Kingdom of Ash. Now, saying this, I really don't know which is my favourite series. There's so many differences, but loved this book. Then I went on to something different. I went on to Cadaverine Queen by Alyssa Whitney. This is the first, I think, in a duology, but it's more a companion duology than an actual duology, but it's a kind of retelling of Frankenstein. I have never read Frankenstein, I've never watched Frankenstein, but I know the general gist of it. This was so interesting. I'm not going to spoil it in any way, but I loved the kind of technology along with the history and like the secrecy as well. So interesting. I love historical fiction anyway, but having a kind of technological dystopian twist on it is just so cool. Then I carried on my Harry Potter reread, so I reread Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is the 4th in the Harry Potter series. I forgot how massive this is, and Order of the Phoenix is even bigger, which I always forget as well. I always think this is the biggest one, and it's not. But I am so glad I reread this, and there's all the little things that you forget, and it's not, you know, Dobby that comes with the gillyweed, it's Neville. It's just so good, this series, and I think I'm gonna go put off reading the next 3 for a while. I feel like I might have Harry Pottered myself out a little bit. It was also quite funny rereading it. There's like the whole Animagus thing. Not saying anything else because I don't want to spoil it, but I couldn't fully remember it, but when one certain point happened, I was like, oh my gosh, yep, there we go, I remember now. And, you know, it's years since I read the series, and just being able to see the little details that are being left out of the movies was just great. And my final read for November was A Touch of Gold by Annie Sullivan. This was a TBR and Beyond group read earlier in 2018, and I completely missed out on it. I didn't even buy the book. But it's a retelling of the King Midas myth, and I just love that it's not from his perspective, it's from his daughter's perspective. And come on, King Midas myth, along with pirates and the hunt for treasure. Oh my gosh, just loved it so much. And I love the relationships in it as well. It was so good. As I said, 3 massive books in November, so I didn't get as much reading done as I intended to, but it definitely ups my page count for the year. Enjoy the book you're reading, and I will speak to you soon.